Now, during the Hamas terror attacks on October 7th, the group killed and kidnapped not only Israelis, but people of other nationalities as well. The biggest group of foreign nationals was from Thailand. Most of them had been working on the farms near the border with Gaza. Officials say that 8 Thai migrants, workers, were being held hostage. Many of them come from northeast of Thailand. DW's Georg Matthes traveled there to speak with survivors and families still waiting for their loved ones to be freed.
Just a few centimeters take up a whole hour. Making carpets with the neighbors helps Kami Lamnao pass the time. Sick with worry, Lamnao hasn't been able to work since Hamas terrorists kidnapped her son more than 140 days ago. The only visitors to her tailor shop these days are local officials, inquiring about her situation.
It's a lot of pressure. I can't rest, I can't eat. I think about my son all the time. I'm constantly wondering how he is. I was told that they only get a blanket, and I'm sure they don't sleep because they're so anxious.
Like many Thais, her eldest son was in Israel working for a farmer. The 1,000 euros he earned a month helped the family back home. Kami Lamnao bought this tractor for the family farm with the money her son sent. She says he continued working in Israel despite knowing it was dangerous.
He's actually experienced a similar situation before. 2 people were killed right in front of him when they were hiding in the shelter during another attack. I told him to come back, but he said it was normal there.
In the neighboring village, this family is reunited. Anusha Angel was released after 50 days of captivity. The money he earned from 4 years working in Israel helped him buy a house and set up a chicken farm. But he says he will never forget the morning of October 7.
They
put us in an empty house for about an hour initially, and then moved us to the tunnels. They hurt us badly, especially in the first 2 to 3 days. We were only given bread and water, just enough to survive. I counted the days by meals. Otherwise, we just lay on the ground and slept.
These are the other Thai workers he was held hostage with on the day of their release. One of them is from the same village as Kami Lamnao's son. Talking to his mother gives her hope that the most dangerous part may already be behind him.
On the day of the kidnapping, there were a total of 5 Thai workers who were taken captive. But the car could only fit 4 more people, so they executed one right there.
Lured by better wages than they can get at home, tens of thousands of Thai nationals, especially from this remote region, work in Israel. They're able to do so because of an agreement between the 2 countries. But officials like the town mayor feel the government should do more to protect citizens.
It's my personal opinion. It is up to the individual where they want to go. They are the ones who take a risk and the ones who benefit from it. But the government should provide adequate information about risk zones so that people can make an informed decision.
The labor agreement with Israel has been suspended for the time being. Many people here would now rather go to Taiwan or South Korea for work. Kami Lamnao says she wants her son to stay in Thailand when he finally returns. She's bought some cattle and land for him. The rice in these fields will be ripe in about a month. She hopes he'll be back home in time for the harvest.
DW Asia Pacific Bureau Chief Georg Matthes, who filed that report for us, also spoke with Thai politician Areepen Uttarasin. He spoke directly with Hamas and took the lead in the negotiation process that led to the release of 23 Thai hostages in November. Now, Uttarasin said that the release of Thai hostages still held by Hamas is linked to the end of Israeli airstrikes on Gaza.
Why is it so difficult to get the remaining Thai hostages in Israel set free?
After the released Thai workers left Israel, they were wearing T-shirts featuring Israeli symbols. This allowed Israel to claim that they secured the release of the hostages. Moreover, one of the 23 released hostages condemned Hamas in an interview with the media. So when it saw the interview, Iran later asked us why one of the released Thai hostages said that he was tortured by Hamas. They claimed this was not true. Because of these interviews, whether we choose to believe them or not, I expect that talks for the release of the remaining hostages will become more challenging.
So you would say the fact that Thai hostages that were released spoke out about their treatment at the hands of Hamas, that had a negative impact on the current negotiations?
One of the former hostages spoke in a negative way, and then Hamas also questioned why the released hostages didn't leave via Egypt. Why did they stay in Israel for a week? So they were unsure if the hostages really spoke for themselves.
So should Thai hostages that were released lie about how they were treated actually by Hamas?
It would be best if the released hostages would talk about their release in a positive way, so that it would be beneficial for the remaining hostages. They should say things that will help the 8 remaining hostages be released more easily. If you condemn Hamas, you frustrate them. How can you expect that they will release the 8 remaining hostages? I think it would be good if the released hostages said things that would help the others to be released.
You have been negotiating directly with Hamas in Iran. What is your recommendation to the Thai government? What should happen next to get the remaining hostages free?
I believe the Thai government should call on Israel to stop the bombing for a week, or at least for a few days. This would allow the negotiations to begin. However, Thailand has remained quiet and has not tried to make Hamas understand our position better. We should make it clear that we don't side with Israel, because now it has become really difficult to free the remaining hostages. That is, unless the Thai government clearly communicates with Israel to stop the bombing as requested by Hamas, so that talks can commence.
So you would say the historically good relationship between Thailand and Iran is reason for hope that the remaining hostages will be freed soon?
Certainly, negotiations can proceed only if the current bombardment stops. But right now, there will be no negotiations like this. If the bombardment stops, however, they will release the remaining hostages, just like they did last time. It's clear that the Thai people are not their enemy, so they don't need to keep them as hostages. But how can they release them now? The bombs are a threat to the hostages.
And we head now to Jakarta, where we speak with DW Asia Pacific Bureau Chief Georg Matthes, who filed that report for us. So, Georg, pretty intense situation for those families there. How are Thais whose loved ones are still held hostage by Hamas coping?
I think one of the biggest problems they face at the moment is uncertainty, because a lot of those relatives told me it's very difficult for them to obtain any sort of information. All they are told by Thai authorities is to sit and wait. And that may have something to do with the general situation that there is not much information, or there is confusing information. So I had the chance to talk to one of the key negotiators who was involved in freeing the last group of hostages. And he said there's now reports that Hamas denies that those 8 people are in their hands. And he says that may be a sign that they have been abducted by another group, or that the fact that they are still abducted is simply denied. So there's a lot of uncertainty here. And of course, for those families, these are all unsettling facts.
Tell us about the impact that you see the abductions have had on Thai society more broadly as well.
Well, all of this obviously came as a huge shock for Thailand. 39 people dead, almost the same number, 5 people less abducted. At least these are the official numbers. And of course, this sheds a lot of light on the fact that there are these huge numbers of migrant workers, some 30,000 who have gone to Israel. Now, the question or the debate that has started is, why are people taking opportunity over security? Why are they taking those risks? And the answer is, at least that is what the head of the Labor Department in Udon Thani, in this northeastern province, told me, is that simply they make a lot of money. And they make up to 5 times what they can earn at home. And how you can address that and how you can offer alternatives is very difficult, because I said, for instance, maybe education is the answer for that region. But then I was told even academics are going abroad to Korea, to Israel, to Taiwan, because there is this deal with these countries and they make so much money.
Thai officials say that they were involved in the negotiating process that led to the release of a number of Thai hostages back in November. Is Thailand still making efforts for the release of the Thai hostages still held in Hamas? I mean, what sort of role are they playing in all of these negotiations that are ongoing?
Yeah, the Foreign Ministry has just announced that efforts are made to push for their release. Now, the person who has been involved tightly in those negotiations in the past told me at the moment there is no contact. And he also told me that Hamas actually made no demands or requests to release the hostages in the past. However, the Foreign Ministry in Thailand has now announced that it appears that a ceasefire has become a precondition or a demand for further talks, so no talks taking place at this moment.
DW Asia Pacific Bureau Chief Georg Matthes, thank you.